Okay,
Ah,
we're
see there?
recording.
Yeah, I thought it was fairly easy. I didn't remember how to do it.
So everybody meet Tim. Tim, meet the Chrysalis School in Uganda. Wave, everybody.
Hold on a second. Let me get my plugs on. It's a lot easier to. Oh, here we go.
Okay,
I'm getting my earpieces on. It's going to be better for sound, I think. Here we go.
cool.
Teddy, teddy. Here we go.
So this is the Star Trek club that they have. And I sent him the pictures of your uniforms and all the things you created.
Oh yeah, there that they created. Yes,
Yeah, yeah. The Deep Space Nine and their Starfleet headquarters and stuff. And
very
so
nice.
yeah, yep. So they've been doing all this stuff and they've been watching your episodes specifically.
Oh, okay,
So they've seen a lot of the Voyager episodes that were Tuvok centric recently.
excellent. Very
Okay.
good.
So I thought what we would do is Tim's going to talk a little bit about being an astronomer, like what he's done, his hobby. If I can figure out how to get some pictures up here that you sent me, we'll do that as well, and then we can talk about Voyager. Does that work for everybody? Okay, cool. So why don't you talk about? Let me see if I can find one of the pictures you sent me.
Yeah, you have to go to share on the screen. You got to get a share at the bottom of that window.
Yeah, I have to find it first. Hold on a minute. Let me pull up the pictures first. Uh, okay. So we're in here, and then let me go into Zoom and then do share. And if I've got, there you go. Okay, there's one of the pictures. Can you guys all see it?
Oh yeah, Saturn.
Yep. So talk a
Yeah.
little bit about this one, Tim.
Yeah, that's the planet Saturn. And I imaged this through one of my telescopes that I have. I've got about seven of them, and this is one of the newer ones that I have that has the ability to look through mostly at deep sky objects like nebulas and galaxies that are a lot farther away and a lot more faint. And I can also image the planets. But it's not really designed so much for the planets as it is for the other objects. And Linda will show you some pictures from that. But I started in astronomy about 35 years ago on my own. I just decided one day I wanted to pursue the hobby and went out and bought a very small telescope. And at that time, I had to learn the constellations of the sky and throughout the year and to be able to find all the objects in those constellations that I wanted to look at. And then from that point, I just sort of got familiar with it, more familiar. And then I got bigger and bigger telescopes to look at more objects that were smaller and more faint over time. And it just made it more fun and more interesting. So yeah, the final one that I ended up at is an imaging telescope. So some of the pictures she has, they'll show you what that one will do in particular. And I've always been fascinated with space science. I love space science. I've really liked it since I was a kid, and since I've been an adult, I just wanted to pursue space science whenever I could, and so it's been great. This
Isn't
is a comet. This is a comet. It's called Comet Neowise, Neowise, Neowise. And this comet I imaged about a year and a half ago. It was pretty bright, actually. They're not always that bright, um, but ever on a rare occasion they do come in pretty bright, and I can image them. So that's one of them, Comet Neowise. I think Neowise is a long period comet. I think it takes about 600 years for this one to go around the sun and come back to us. So it's very cool. Next one. Let me see what you
let's
got,
see.
Linda.
Let's see. Hold on a minute. I just got to go into. Oh, just hold on a minute. I just have to go into it and find it. Hold on. This takes me a minute. Okay. Okay, let's see. We got this one. You see it?
Yeah, that is that's called the whale galaxy is what that's called. And the whale galaxy, as you can see, it has a companion galaxy, a little tiny one. It's called a dwarf. Those are called dwarf galaxies. And we have a couple of them outside of our Milky Way as well. But that's the whale galaxy, and it's a spiral galaxy, and you're looking at it sideways from the edge. That's why it looks like a long line instead of a spiral. And it's pretty far away. This is one of the ones I imaged with the telescope. But it's one of our local group of galaxies. We have a local group of galaxies alongside the Milky Way. And we're part of a larger cluster called the Virgo cluster. So there's a lot of these galaxies are nearby us, this one in particular. So what else you got there, Linda?
Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, let's share. This one is, hold on, pop it up. I think this is, okay.
Ah, yes, the dumbbell. That is the Dumbbell Nebula. That is a planetary nebula. It is a nebula that started by, it's is a result of a star about the size of our sun that has died. And when that star dies, it sheds all of its gas and dust into this sort of, usually it's a ring or a big circular cloud. This one is shaped like a dumbbell, and it leaves behind a white dwarf star, which is a very tiny, very dense, glowing star that glows for another, 10 million, a billion years. But at the end of the day, all these colors that you see from the dust and the gas that's been ejected, just basically released from the star. It's not an explosion. It's not a supernova. It's just the star has just shed its outer layers of plasma and gas, and it's nitrogen, hydrogen, helium, oxygen, carbon, sulfur, things like that. Gives it all those colors. And that's called a planetary nebula. I don't know why they call it a planetary nebula because it's the result of a star, not a planet, but that's what they call it. But that's what it is, a planetary nebula. And our sun, in another 5 billion years or so, it will do the same thing over time. There you go.
Okay, let's see what else I got. I got a couple more. Hold on. Okay, let's see what this one is. Hold on. Mm. Oh, this one looks kind of fun. Is that the same one or is this one's no, this one's different.
This one's different. This is what's called an emission nebula. These nebulas are caused by stars that have exploded, supernova, and they create these enormous gas clouds. These are light years across. And emission nebulas are different than the last one. They're much, much bigger, and they're caused by much greater explosions of stars. And they also are places where stars are born. Like stars actually are born. In the center of this nebula is what's called the pillars of creation, which is where a lot of new stars are actually born. New stars with new solar systems around them, like ours. So again, the nebula is illuminated by the stars that are born and have been created inside the nebula. So the radiation from those stars causes the nebula to light up and illuminate. So you can see it. And of course, the colors are then created by the types of gas that this nebula is made up of. And again, this is called an emission nebula, much, much bigger than what you just saw. This nebula is light years across. That's how big it is.
And let's say there's just one more.
Mhm.
And then let's see. I think there's one more. Yep, there's just one more. There you go. Let's see. This is the last one.
Here you go. That is another spiral galaxy called the Fireworks Galaxy. That is also part of the local group of galaxies that are close to ours. You can see it's a spiral, so you're looking at it face on, right? Not from the edge, not like this. You're looking at it this way. So this spiral galaxy is kind of like ours. And it's also, they call it the fireworks because they have identified at least 10 supernovas that have gone off in the last, 10, 20, 30 years. There's been at least 10 supernovas in this one galaxy that have exploded. So that's why they call it the fireworks galaxy. So, and it's a very pretty one. It's very nice to look at through the telescope. And again, these images were imaged through what I call the unistellar telescope, which is pretty cool. It's an imaging telescope. For example, if you look at something with the naked eye, just your eye, you can only see one layer of light at a time. That's it, just one layer of light. So if you look at this galaxy through just an optical telescope, it's not going to look like this. My telescope will take the light and it will stack it over and over and over and over again until the object gets brighter and brighter and brighter and more detailed. Takes about 7, 8, 9 minutes, something like that. And you get what you get right here. Within the city. It'll filter the city lights out too, which is nice. But this is called an imaging telescope that I use to get these pictures. They're very cool. That's it, Linda. Is that all I got there?
Yeah, I do have, let me see. I think I've got a picture of you with the telescope. Let me, hold on. Let me see if I can find
Yeah, I
that.
think there's one with me standing next to it.
A telescope. Yeah, hold on a minute. Let me see if I can find that one. Where's the, yeah, here we go. And that's the one with the telescope. So here, if I can find that, where does it go? There you go. And you can talk a little bit about, I shared it before, but you can talk a little bit about your telescope.
Yeah. Yeah, that's this one here is the white one is actually a Dobsonian telescope. It's a Newtonian design, which is basically just a big mirror in the back and then a small mirror in the front. And so the light comes through, hits the big mirror, and then is reflected back to the smaller mirror in front, and the eyepiece is right there. These optics are just basically 300 or 400 years old in terms of their style. They've been around for that long. It's called Newtonian because Sir Isaac Newton was the one that designed it. So it's a telescope that's just designed to look at objects with the naked eye. That's all it is. It's just an optical telescope. I use it in dark skies, and it's really some very nice images I can get with the stars and the and some of the objects in the sky with this telescope. It's very nice. It works well. In the back behind me is the unistellar. The one that's standing up straight up and down is the unistellar I talked about earlier. That one is the imaging telescope. So this is one of the nights that when I go out with to dark skies with my astronomy group, and we look at objects in the sky for 2 or 3 hours at a time. So it's nice. Does
So,
that work? Yeah.
question for you, Tim, because they have a telescope. They haven't quite figured out how to use it yet. But are there are there things online that they can go to where they would then have access? Like, I know there's like an astronomy society or links that you can give me that I can give them that they can go on themselves and be able to maybe uh connect with other folks.
Yeah, I mean there's basically forums.
Okay.
There's a bunch of different forums that are online. And if they have whatever type of telescope they have, there probably is a video to show them how to use that telescope, how to set it up and how to use it. I'm sure there probably is. I don't know what kind of telescope they have. but I'm sure there's probably an online
Okay.
video that you can look at to see how instructions on how to operate it. And there are definitely groups and forums online that you can go to try to get information, about some of the stuff. You can ask a question and see if there's an answer for it online as well. Google has a lot of information, especially for people who are kind of just starting out and just want to get the basics. But I would need to know what kind of telescope it is they have, and with that, be able to go online and check and see
Okay.
how what the instructions are for how to basically use it. You have to be able to find the object with the telescope, and that requires a good finder, and be able to get it in the eyepiece and get it centered. And I don't know if it's a manual eye, manual, is that
There
the
it
word?
is. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and
What is
yeah, that is a Newtonian telescope. It has a mirror, two mirrors, mirror in the back and a mirror in the front. And so it's kind of like the big white one that I just showed you. It's very similar to that. So it's a Newtonian. It looks like it's about a 5 inch, maybe 5 or 6 inches in diameter as far as the mirror goes. It's fairly decent size. I don't know what kind of tripod they have because you need a really good tripod, something to mount it on. It's got to be a really sturdy, strong, sturdy strut so it doesn't shake and rattle. It has to be a very solid tripod. Otherwise, the objects in the eyepiece, when you try to focus them, are not going to be able to focus very easily. So you need a good tripod. Once you have that, you have either an alt-azimuth tripod, which goes up, down, left, and right, or you have an equatorial tripod, which faces north and then tracks east and west like that. So it's either one or the other. And but make sure that whichever one it is, that it's solid, it's sturdy, it doesn't shake around and rattle. It's not loose. It should be very, I want to say not heavy, but certainly solid so that it doesn't shake. Otherwise, it's going to be very tough to get that in the eyepiece and then focus the object. You have to have a finder for that telescope. I would suggest if you can get one there is a Telrad, Telrad, Telrad finder scope would be ideal for that telescope. Whichever one it came with is going to be a little tricky, probably. You can still use it, but what I would start out with is very bright objects. Say, for example, the moon. Look at the moon. Get the moon in there and get your finder scope aligned with the moon. And then you go to very bright stars that you can see with the naked eye and try to get those into the eyepiece. And you can also look for the planets. The planets are up and they don't twinkle, they're solid. So the stars twinkle, the planets don't twinkle. And right now, Jupiter and Saturn, are they below the equator? I think they are, right, Linda? I
I
think
don't
they're
know.
below. I think Uganda is below the equator. I'd have to look it up. Hold on a second here. Is Southern Hemisphere, Northern Hemisphere? Uganda, who's is in which hemisphere? I think it's Southern Hemisphere. Uganda is in the northern. Wait, both Northern and Southern Hemisphere. Oh Christ, you guys are sitting right on the line. You guys are sitting right on the line between the North and the Southern Hemisphere. So I don't know if you'll be able to see Jupiter or Saturn, but both of those planets are up in the northern hemisphere right now during the evening. So you might be able to find those as well. I've never looked at anything through a telescope where I was close to the equator. I've never been able to do that. It's fascinating. So they'll actually have an image of the north and the southern hemisphere at the same time, which is kind of cool. Um, there's a lot of stuff in the southern hemisphere that I've never
Mm.
seen. But in any case, you want to get information on how to operate that telescope online, and it's called a Newtonian telescope. That's what that is, a Newtonian. And so you want to get information on how to set it up and how to operate it. That will be online. You just have to look it up. You can go to YouTube or whatever you got there and see if you can find that on how to set up and operate it. And check and see what kind of tripod you have to put it on, because you got to get it on the tripod, make sure it's, tight. You got to move it to wherever you're going to go, which is all manual. And then you have to make sure that your finder is aligned up with what's in the eyepiece. And you can do that in the daytime, actually, but you want to make sure that what's in the finder is in the eyepiece. If they can get anyone, an adult, to help them out, that would be the best thing to do. There
Okay,
must be
thank you.
somebody there who's done astronomy before that could help them out.
And then do you guys have any questions for Tim about astronomy before we then move on to talking about Star Trek? And then one thing real quick too is there's a planetary society and they have a lot
Mhm.
of resources as well. So you can just look them up online. But I know Tim is very involved with them and they host a lot of events that you can do online.
Yeah. And are they going to ask the questions? Are they going to type them? Are they going to?
Yeah, so so do you guys have any questions for Tim? They tend to be a little shy, so don't be shy. Um,
Yeah. Just ask.
um, do you have any questions for Tim about astronomy or anything like that? Any questions?
My name is
Okay.
my name is Are you hearing me?
A little bit. Yes, a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little
Okay,
hard to
my
hear.
name is
Do you want to type in your question? That might be easier. Type it in the chat because it's a little hard to hear.
Yeah. Type it in the chat. Can he type it in the chat?
Yep, yep. Type it in the chat and then we can do I think that might be easier. Here we go. Questions.
have, have you photographed the black hole? I should ask this question. Yes.
Oh, did it just freeze up on us?
Just a little bit. It's just a little rough.
Okay, yeah.
First,
There you go. Hey there.
the first question, first, first question is Morris asked, have you ever photographed a black or have you ever been in an episode of Voyager with a black hole?
No, I have not. I have not photographed a black hole. I don't have that kind of telescope. A black hole requires what's called infrared technology. You have to have an infrared telescope in order to see a black hole because they are obscured by a lot of dust and matter that blocks them out. So you have to be able to look through that. And to look through that, you have to have an infrared telescope. That's what they use. Also, they've also used radio telescopes to try to see them as well. You can't see them with the naked eye. You can't see them with a telescope with your eye. They're obscured at the center of the galaxy. There's so much dust and debris and all that stuff in the way, and also a bunch of other stars. You've got to go right through all of that in order to see them. I wish I could, but I can't. And I don't think we had an episode of Voyager with a black hole. I know that Deep Space Nine, they were parked outside of a wormhole, which they believe could be created by a black hole. But on Voyager, we did not have that. No.
Okay, any other questions about astronomy? Okay. Any others? Oh, here we go. Okay. Do you have another question?
Do you think humans?
Okay. Do you guys then want to start talking a little bit about Voyager and Star Trek? Do you guys have any questions about Star Trek, Voyager? Tim, do you want to maybe talk for a
Do
couple
you think
minutes about your
humans?
character first?
Well,
And they
see
can
if
think
they
of some questions?
They might have had something. He can relay, whoever that was, can relay the questions if they had some. I think they had somebody started to say
Did you?
something.
Do you
Yeah,
think
Ben, could you
humans
tell us what the question was? Or type it in the chat? Oh,
Yeah. Do you think humans will ever find a way how to teleport?
Um, it's possible. It might be possible way, way in the future. So far, scientists have been able to teleport a single photon particle. They were able to move a photon particle from one place to another. Um, that's it. So a photon is basically a particle of light, and they were able to teleport that, if you will, get it from one place to another. I think that's all they've been able to do. It will take a very, very long time to be able to create a machine that can disassemble all of the atoms in your body, take them to another place, and reassemble them in perfect order. That's going to take a very, very long time, if at all. You know, it may be a class 2 or 3 civilization before you could get that accomplished. So it'll take a long time, and very complicated.
any other questions? Astronomy, Voyager?
yeah. Do you think there will be a ship that can one day explore the galaxy just like a Voyager?
Yes. Yeah, eventually, yes. Um, that would be a class 2 civilization, type 2 civilization. We are 0.5 or 6 right now. A type 1 civilization is able to harness all of the energy from its planet. Type 2 civilization is able to harness all of the energy from its star and is able to traverse the galaxy that it's in. Type 3 would be able to traverse the universe and can harness all of the power in its galaxy. That's type 3. So type 2 civilization will allow travel interstellar within our galaxy. Yeah, eventually. That's a very long time down the road. Um, our species as human beings will have evolved way beyond what we are right now. So we may be part machine, we may be all machine by that time. But at the end of the day, it's possible that we will be able to do that. Yes. Yeah.
Other questions? Wait, we got another one coming.
Okay, my name is Ambrose Agwe, and I'd just like to show you some of the models.
Oh, his Deep Space
Ah,
Nine. Look
Deep
what they
Space
did.
Nine. Yes.
And yeah, we made it out of the dark.
Very nice. That's really cool. It's
And,
a beautiful model. Very nice work. Excellent.
and we also
Excellent.
Oh,
and we also have the Enterprise here.
Wow. That's beautiful.
And and also and we also made some phrases like here, and then we also
oh, they made a
made
phaser
some
too.
Got a phaser too.
phrases.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we watched
And
yeah, what else?
well,
You got
yeah, I have a question for you on the
yes.
episode of the riddles. Uh, did you enjoy working with the kids when you were narrating for them the fairy tales?
Did I enjoy working with what was that?
When did you enjoy working with the kids when they were scared about the other creature in the forest when they had crashed in the plane? And did you
Oh,
enjoy telling them the fairy tales?
Oh, is that was that I'm trying to
with the
remember which
kids.
with the young kids. Yes. Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did like working on that show, on that episode. And I think I think I did some kind of joke at the very end. I was working with the director and the little kids, and when we go into the cave at the very end, I think I did a take where we just played a joke on everybody, and I didn't go in the cave. I just ran away like I was scared. But yeah, we did. We had a good time with that. It was a fun episode. It was very cool. I enjoyed it. Yes. Innocence. The name of the show episode was called Innocence. Yes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have one more question.
Yeah.
I've been doing more research about you on Facebook. I happened to find one photo. Are you a musician?
Yes. I
Because
am a
I
musician.
saw.
Yeah.
Okay. We also have some people who play guitars here at us.
Do you play?
Yeah.
Do you play guitar?
Yeah.
You do? Yeah. Yeah, I play guitar. Let's see, 50 years. 50. That many years. I have played guitar. Yes. I still play today. Absolutely. I post my performances on Facebook when I have them. And there is some footage of my band is on Facebook. Tim Russ Crew is also have their own page, and that's on there. So you can let them know, Linda, via email that then, I have my own Facebook page for the band as well. Um, and it's been a long time. I've been playing for a very long time. I really enjoy it a lot. So, and I'm still playing today, I got to play next Friday. I've got to play a performance next Friday here in Los Angeles. Yeah, do them all the time. I love it. I just love it.
Do you guys have access to like a CD player? Because I'm going to see Tim in a couple of weeks. And so, Tim, if they have access, if you want to give me one of your CDs, I can mail it out to them.
Yeah, yeah, I should have it. Absolutely.
Because I'll
Yeah,
see, because
I've got a bunch.
I'll be in
Yeah,
LA. So do you guys have access to a CD to listen to like a CD recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'll give Linda one of the CDs. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'll see him in about 2 to 3 weeks. I'm seeing him November 7th. There's a Voyager documentary event that I'm flying out to LA for. So I'll make sure then you guys get a couple of his CDs so you can listen to his music. Does that sound
Yeah.
good?
Yes, I got it.
Yeah, you can tell him that I've got two music videos on YouTube under my name.
Okay.
One is called Lead Me Home, and the other one is called We, W-E. You can listen to those online right then and there. Yeah. And those are music videos. So Lead Me Home is one of them under my name, Tim Russ. The other one is called We, just the word We, W-E, under Tim Russ. If you look those up, you'll see them.
Okay. Other questions?
Yes, I'm Moses. This is Moses. I want to ask, how how did playing in Tuvok and
Yeah, we're having
I got,
trouble. It's very
yeah,
garbled.
you okay?
see if you can relay that for us.
Yeah, can you relay that? Yeah, we're having trouble hearing on this end.
Okay. Question.
Yeah.
How did playing
Whoop, give me that again.
What's the question? Yeah, we're not hearing it.
It broken up. Let me hear it again. I think it had something to do with playing Tuvok.
Okay. How did playing Tuvok in Voyager have an impact on you and on your career?
Well, as far as my career, it was a very big step for me because it was a series that stayed on for 7 years. It stayed on for a long time. I've worked on some other series before, some other shows before that, but they didn't stay on very long. So Voyager stayed on a very, very long time, and it's a very popular franchise. So a lot of people watch Star Trek, all of the shows, and so I had a very big built-in sort of audience ready to watch it, and it ran for 7 years, which was great from my career. And as far as me playing the role, well, it's very easy for me to play that part because if you're an actor, you study for years to learn how to show emotions, how to play emotions. And my character doesn't have them, he doesn't show them. So I ended up playing a part for 7 years that barely showed any emotion at all, after studying so long to show emotions. So it's much easier to play a character that does not show emotion than it is to play a character that does show emotion. That's hard. That's tricky because you have to be believable to human beings. Human beings know what emotions are. Human beings can read emotions. They can read the expression in your face. So you have to be able to show those emotions when you're doing a human role. But for me, as a Vulcan character, I don't have to because he doesn't show them. So it was easy for me as an actor to play that role for 7 years.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Nero Andrew, and I have a question for you about
Yeah.
Avery Brooks. Did you ever talk to him before you joining Star Trek Voyager and becoming Tuvok about being an African American?
Oh, yes. Avery Brooks. Avery Brooks is very stoic, very serious, um, very introspective is the word I want to use, and very much into the African American experience. He knows his history and everything else. He's a very, intense individual. I did not know him before working on Voyager. I only knew him after I was on the show. I met him, shortly after I started working. They filmed. They were filming at the same time we were for 3 years. And I used to go, and they filmed right across the alley on the studio lot. There's just an alley, the street, and they were right across the alley in the next soundstage. And sometimes I would go over there just to go over there and barge in on their shooting and just to see what they would say. But Avery was very cool. I worked with Avery on 2 episodes of Deep Space Nine. The Mirror, what is it? Mirror episode, I think it was. I did 2 episodes of Deep Space Nine as Tuvok, but in an alternate dimension, so that I was not in Starfleet. I was a renegade sort of outlaw. I want to say renegade outlaw or terrorist, or I can't remember what it was. No, rebel. He was a rebel, a part of a rebel group. And I played 2 episodes on their show. I also played a Klingon on Deep Space Nine as well. That was before Voyager. So I've been on Deep Space Nine 3 times. Yeah. Avery's very cool. He's a very nice guy. Like I said, he's very intense. That's what he is. Intense is the word.
You guys will have to go and watch his episodes, his Deep Space Nine episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember all 3. I know I think one's called Mirror Mirror. I got to double check. But it's a mirror. It's a mirror universe. It's like an alternate universe. Because that's why I show up. I mean, I'm there in this alternate universe. He's Tuvok, but he's not Tuvok in Starfleet. He's a rebel, underground rebel fighter. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Another question. Who are your best friends on the Voyager cast
Ah,
group?
I'm
Who are
pretty
your best friends?
best friends with. Yes. I get along with everybody, but I stay in touch with Ethan Phillips a lot, played Neelix. He and I are very good friends. We used to paraglide together. I know that was crazy at the time. We would paraglide together. And also, I hang out with Bob Picardo, is a very good friend because Bob Picardo belongs to the Planetary Society, and we do a lot of stuff for the Planetary Society together. So Bob Picardo and Ethan Phillips that I've spent the most time with. Yeah.
And for a while there, didn't you guys, when you were all in LA, didn't you do dinner once a month with several of you got together for a long time?
Yeah, we kind of did that as the guys, the Star Trek boys, as it were. We'd get together for dinner and, sit down a bit. But I mean, they were pretty far and few between, and we haven't done it in a very long time. But I'm in regular communication with Bob Picardo, some with Robert McNeil, who played Paris, because of their Delta Flyers podcast. And then Ethan Phillips, we text and stuff back and forth all the time, like almost every day. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Delta Flyers have a podcast that you can go look up and listen to, and they talk about the Voyager episodes.
Yeah, they talk about each Voyager episode. It's very cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions?
What about Captain Jane? What
Captain
about Captain Janeway? Did you get along with her?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the captain, Kate Mulgrew, Captain. You know what? She's a lot like her character, by the way. She's just like her character. She can be a hopeless romantic, and she can be tough as nails. No kidding around, no messing around, very serious. She's a very good actress, and she's no nonsense, all about business, all about the work. And that's Kate. Kate is wonderful, very nice lady. But like I said, she can be very tough, and she can also be a hopeless romantic. That's the way she is. She is just like what you saw in the series. That's her. All of it. Yep.
Hello, my name is Tim Russ. Just want to have
We can't hear you.
Let me get close to the microphone. That might help.
Yep.
how did they make it to look like Voyager was moving through the space?
Oh.
How do they make? Did you get that, Linda?
Yeah. How did they make Voyager look like it's moving through space?
That is done by computer animation. Computer animation, like they make cartoons. It's all computer animation, CGI, special effects. That's how it's all done today. Everybody uses it. So all the movies you see that are made today with space and ships flying and all that, it's all done by computer. Everything on computer animation. That's how it's done. And today, much better than when we did it. It's better now than it was before. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah. My name is Bongomin Eric, and my question is, how difficult was it never to smile through almost all the episode?
It's very easy to not smile. It's very easy not to show any emotions. It's very easy. Except for when some of my friends on set try to make me laugh, which they did. Neelix, Ethan Phillips, always tried to make me laugh. So, that was a challenge sometimes. But playing the character and not smiling, that was easy. That's very easy. It's harder to show emotions than it is not to. I was lucky. Yeah.
Okay, other questions? Let's see, we got.
Yeah, my name is Dickens Sepong. I just have one question. Would your real mother expected you to join Star Trek like your screen mother expected you to join Star Trek Academy?
Did I, was he asking about my mom and my mother? No.
We didn't catch it. Can you repeat it,
What was that?
please?
That would your real mother expected you to join Star Trek,
Oh,
like your screen mother expected you to join Star Starfleet
yeah.
Academy?
Yeah, he's asking whether my mother expected me to. No, she did not. She had no idea that that was going to happen. Neither did I. I mean, it just happened when it happened. She was very, very happy and very excited when I did get that part. She and my father both were very excited. They were very happy. Um, I had been acting for about 20 years before I got Star Trek. So I had been working as an actor quite a bit, even before then. So it was just another role, but it was a much bigger role than I had gotten before. So they were very excited about that when it happened. But they did not know that was going to happen. No, they had, and I didn't know it was going to happen either. You know, it just happened. You know, I was in the right place at the right time.
Did that answer your question?
Yes,
Okay.
my name is Gloria. My question, how do you feel when connecting with the
Did you
mind
catch
meld?
it?
Have him come closer to the.
Yeah, can you come
So,
closer? Yeah, we didn't catch that.
what was that?
My name is Gloria. My
Yep.
question was, how do you feel when connecting with the mind meld with someone?
He's as about mind melding, right? Um, on on the series, um, obviously we just sort of make believe or pretend. I've never done it in real life, no, but on the series, yeah, we had to make it believable that what we were doing was trying to communicate with somebody, consciousness to consciousness, so mind to mind. In real life, there's no way I could do that. It was only on television, and I think it's a very good. I think it's a very useful thing for my character to be able to do. It really helps a lot. I think they were watching Gravity, the episode Gravity, where I'm rescued by this lady and she falls in love with me. And at the end, when it's time for me to go, she is very much, attracted to me. She's very much, enamored with me. She loves me. And I'm not able to return that. So, but by the same token, so we mind meld at the end. I meld with her to tell her, how I feel about her, even though I can't stay with her, etc. So I let her know that I appreciate everything she's done, and I thought and how wonderful she is as a person. And I think that's what makes, all you see is just the expression on her face, and that's it. I don't say a word. It's just done through the mind meld. So I thought that was very nice that we did it that way. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Yeah, a couple more.
Yes. Yes, my name is Alan. Yeah, I have got two questions. One is, as an astronomer, what inspired you in astronomy?
I was attracted to astronomy because I have always loved space science. Um, and I also liked science fiction. So I was watching science fiction ever since I was just a little kid. And I just got hooked into science fiction. And then from there, I started studying science, space science in and of itself. So, I was around during the moon landing. When we landed on the moon, I was watching that on television as it was happening with the rest of the world, and I just couldn't believe how we had done that. And so I was really captivated by space science. And so when I got old enough to have my own telescope, I went out and bought one. That's it. I just decided one day I'm going to go out, I'm going to buy a telescope, and I'm going to start, looking at the sky. And the first thing that I found on my telescope was the planet Saturn. That was the first thing I saw on the eyepiece, and I was hooked. I was so amazing to be able to see that through my telescope, and that was it. I just kept going from there. That's how I developed a love for it. But it just came. I just decided one day to go do it. I was fascinated by the science of space and astronomy, and so I just decided to pursue it and practice it hands on. Yep.
And you had another
Yeah.
question?
Yes. Yes. So another question is, as an astronomer, what do you know about asteroids? Because the students have been
Asteroids. There are,
asteroids.
was
Yes.
this asteroids? Yes. Did you ask about asteroids?
Yes.
Yes. I actually imaged an asteroid with my telescope. It's called near Earth asteroids that cross Earth's orbit at some point in time. There are a lot of asteroids. There are asteroids between Mars and Jupiter in the asteroid belt, and there are also asteroids in the orbit of Jupiter, the planet Jupiter. There are asteroids in the planet Jupiter's orbit. There are also asteroids in Earth's orbit. The same orbit that Earth is in, there are asteroids. Matter of fact, there's one asteroid right now that's parked right outside our planet right now, riding along with us. It's like a little tiny moon because it's one of the asteroids in Earth's orbit. And you know what else? When you watch a movie, when you see the spaceship going through all the asteroids and the rocks are all close together and they're almost about to hit the spaceship, that's not really how it happens. The average distance between the asteroids in the asteroid belt is 680,000 miles. That's the average distance that the asteroids are from each other. They are way far away from each other. So you're not going to take a ship and go banging into a lot of rocks. That's not going to happen. They are so far apart from each other. There are millions of them, but they are very, very far from each other. So asteroids are very cool. I really like them. They're very neat things, and we can learn a lot from asteroids. We've already crashed a spaceship into them, a piece of a spaceship into it. We just took back a piece of one and brought it back to Earth. So we're studying, how those formed at the very beginning of our solar system. When our solar system was first formed, all these are leftover rocks and pieces of planets that got smashed to pieces. And that's what's left over. So those rocks and things are not, they're pristine. They haven't been contaminated by anything on Earth. So when you get those and you study them, you know what the early solar system was made of and how it formed. So they're very important pieces. And a few of them have hit Earth pretty hard. Uh, the dinosaurs kind of met up with one of those. So there you go. Yeah.
Hey, do you have another question?
We finished our planned questions that we had. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to thank Tim so much for being here. It's been just an incredible experience. Even just seeing you coming onto the screen, everyone was so excited to see you because they knew you from Voyager. So,
Yes.
and for me personally as well, because I'm such a long-term Star Trek fan. Me, I'm
Outstanding.
just I am the director of the school. I've been in Uganda for about 15 years.
Nice.
And we started Star Trek probably about 14 years ago. We didn't know people would like it, but they've liked it right from the beginning. So
Yes.
yeah, it's been just incredible really to meet with you today. Thank you
Oh,
for
that's
all of your time.
well, it's
If you
my
had any questions, kids, you can ask.
yeah. Do you have a can you show me what the tripod for the telescope looks like? You have that there? Just want to
We
see what it,
have a tripod. We have a solar telescope as well, but
yeah,
it's got a tripod, but I don't think this one will work for the other.
yeah. The other one needs a tripod if you don't have one.
There it is. Okay.
Is that the one for the astronomy the space telescope? Is that it? That's it. Is that the one that's not that's the solar telescope, I think, right? Is that the
We,
solar?
we don't have one. Yeah.
That's the solar telescope. Is that right?
Yeah.
So that one is not
Yes.
that's only for the sun, not for looking at the stars. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, let me see it. I'm gonna have them turn it that way. Let me see that. Yeah, that one is, I was trying to see if they could use that for the solar telescope. Yeah, that's only for looking at I think for looking at the sun. I think they can look at the stars as well with that one. It's a Newtonian. So I think they could look at the stars with that one also. It's got a tripod already built in. You're not going to be able to see a lot of detail. You could look at the moon and maybe a couple of the planets and things like that because it's fairly small. But that big blue one that you showed me before, do you have a tripod for that? Is there a tripod for that big one? I think it was a big one, right? Yeah, yeah, they'll need a
You don't have
tripod. Yeah, is there a tripod for the big one?
no, no.
They don't have one.
They don't have one. Okay, well, they need the tripod for the other one. I don't know if they can look at objects in the night sky with that one there. It's a very small Newtonian, and it's going to be very low power, so they're not going to be able to see a lot with that one. They could look at the moon and a couple of planets and things like that with it, and they can look at the sun, with a solar filter on it, but it's very low power. The other one's got a little bit more kick to it, so they'd have to find a tripod and a manual tripod of some type. It can be an alt-azimuth, but it's got to be sturdy. It's got to be a decent tripod. So they'll have to get on the Amazon train or somebody to get one over there. I don't know how they order stuff over there, but if they can find one, that would be a good thing. There's a lot of telescopes that you can get online that are small and very powerful and compact. I can send a couple of pictures to Linda, and and they're inexpensive, very inexpensive, very easy to use. And I can get a picture of you to you, Linda, for you, a tabletop that's real easy and real cheap, but really powerful and very simple to use. And they can use that for looking at the planets and the moon and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, sun as well if they want. That's a Maksudov Cassegrain. They're very good little telescopes. They're sturdy. They don't have to be columnated either. You don't have to align the mirrors. These other ones, you have to line up the mirrors, man, if they get out of alignment and then everything's all fuzzy and not right. So the one I can show you a picture of, if they can get a hold of it, it's only $212 or 220 bucks or something. It's very inexpensive. They're very good telescopes and very easy to use. Yeah? Yeah,
Oh,
very simple. Hell, Linda could probably send one to you. I could help you out with it. They're not very much. Um,
okay.
yeah, we could probably send one to you. Yeah? Yeah, we can do it. It's not gonna, they're inexpensive. So
Okay.
if you're able to ship one to them, could do that.
I'll look into that. Yeah, we'll look to see what we can do to get you a telescope. How does that sound?
Yeah, and and you won't need anything else. Once you have it, you have it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions real quick? Because we're a little over time. Any other questions? Tim, do you have any questions for them?
No, I'm good. I just want
Okay.
to help them get something they can use to see the stars with.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. It was
Thank
really
you very
great
much.
it was great spending some time with you again.
I appreciate it very much, guys.
Okay?
Study hard, study hard. Keep your lessons going. Live
And live
long and
long and
prosper.
prosper.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.